fix it because I've got 6 o'clock on my nose. All right. Let's call this meeting to order. Thank you so much for coming. Thank you so much for coming out on a really rainy Monday. If you have a cell phone on you, would you please silence that phone so that we can conduct our business and give you our full attention? With that, we will stand for our Pledge of Allegiance and remain standing for the invocation. Thank you. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Let us pray. Our Heavenly Father, as we enter the season of Thanksgiving, we're so thankful for the blessings that you have bestowed upon us. And we, the council, are thankful for the high school students who have chosen to join us here tonight. We pray that you would bless our meeting and that we would have wisdom to do the thing which is right for our town. These things we pray in your holy name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you. Thank you very much. Alrighty then. Davey, do you have a change for us for the agenda?
Just for the minutes.
Okay.
The minutes.
When we get after the minutes?
Yeah.
Okay. Council members, you've received copies of our October 22nd council meeting minutes. Are there any changes, additions, or deletions?
Hearing none, I move to accept.
Hearing none, I have a move
Second.
to accept and a second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, nay. Thank you very much.
Mayor,
Yes, sir.
if you will, it's for the minutes there, now that you've approved them. As a matter of information, the second reading of the bond ordinance that was deferred to this meeting will need to be held at a later meeting date.
Okay.
In order to have it updated with the most current information.
Yes, sir.
We just wanted that information passed on in the meeting minutes.
We're grateful for getting it right. Thank you. Thank you very much. Do we have anyone signed in for public comment?
No, ma'am.
Don't have anyone. I'll go ahead and do what I need to do. Pursuant to Section 2-46 of the Code of Ordinances for the Town of Fort Mill, any resident may appear before council for the purpose of providing public comments on any municipal matter except personnel matters. Those who wish to speak must sign the public comment sheet prior to the start of the meeting. So that means you'd need to sign it before the gavel drops and everybody gets all formal. So we have none. So no public hearings tonight. We'll start with presentation number 1, Storm Drain Art Project, Leanne Clark and Debbie Whitsitt.
And I'm going to be with them.
Okay, thanks, Caroline.
Mayor, Council, hi.
Hi.
We are coming to you. I've been working with these fantastic ladies on a project that we would like to propose. This project is called the Storm Drain Art Project. This is basically where art meets education on our streets. And we're super excited about it. We are proposing to work with local merchants and local artists. That's why we have our resident artist with us, Miss Debbie. And our purpose is, our goal for this is to educate the public that pollutants that can go into storm drains impact the Catawba River.
You mean pollutants?
What did I say? Pollutants.
Pollutants. I'm thinking, I like bees.
Sorry, Tony. Impact the Catawba River and other York County waterways. We wanted to paint a picture of how important it is to keep our river and our drinking water clean.
Mm-hmm.
So local high school students will be invited for the Storm Drain Art Contest.
Awesome.
The result will be a block of beautifully painted storm drains that make a positive impact on the local community and raise awareness of the importance of clean water. We are proposing to do this on Railroad Avenue, and we believe that this is a great location since the mural has started something, if that makes sense.
It has.
There are 4 wonderful locations that we could easily do it on. Our assistant. There's Railroad Avenue. Okay. And there's my arrows. And then the arrows show, and those. That's a big drain.
It's a train drain.
Thank you. So that's what the drain is. And not all drains look exactly like that, but that's just one of them. But those will be the locations. And one of the projects that we are wanting to add to this, could you go back to the picture of the first railroad? Yeah, that one. The picture of the street. We're actually looking at using some of this talent to go on the corner right here. At the tip of the street where the streets meet. So Leanne is here. She is our stormwater manager for the town, and she will give you the reasons why we're doing this.
Thank you. Madam Mayor, Council, thank you for having me. I'm incredibly excited to be here tonight to tell you about this project because it's really unique in that it gives us the opportunity to meet some of the requirements of our stormwater management plan. And while doing so, we get to build relationships with local businesses, with the schools, and it just really is positive. It has so many positive outcomes. So to give you a little bit of background about why we want to do this, we have a NPDES permit that was issued by the state of South Carolina. And in that permit, the permit basically governs municipal separate storm sewer systems, or MS4s, which is the more common term that you've probably heard. So within this state permit, we're required to have a stormwater management plan. The stormwater management plan is basically to reduce pollutants within the town of Fort Mill to the maximum extent possible through the use of best management practices. What that basically means is that the state has outlined certain categories, and we have to create ways that we're going to meet those requirements. So the categories that are within the permit are illicit discharge, construction site, post-construction, good housekeeping. But the two that really we're trying to meet with this project are the public education and the public involvement requirements. The public education requirement is that we are required to design a comprehensive stormwater education and outreach program. And the public involvement portion is that we're required to involve the public in the planning and implementation of activities related to the development and implementation of the stormwater management plan. So creating a storm drain project that allows us to work with the schools and work with local businesses and work with the public and to really get that public education program off the ground is what we're trying to do. What we'd like to do is incorporate a slogan. We're working with town employees right now to come up with a slogan that will be associated with the town of Fort Mill stormwater. So you can see an example up there, don't be mean, keep it clean. Something that's sort of catchy that people remember when they see it, they'll associate with the stormwater program at the town of Fort Mill. And the reason we want to do that is because a lot of people don't realize that what goes down a storm drain goes directly into a body of water. So they might not think twice about washing their car and letting their wash water go down a storm drain, or putting fertilizer on their lawn, or leaving pet waste on their lawn, not realizing that once it rains, all of that washes directly into the storm drains and then it goes directly to a body of water. So what we're trying to do is come up with a slogan to educate people, make them think twice before they put things down the storm drain. This program really lets us do it in a clever and an artistic way, and when it gets the public out to see it, not only is it the schools, the local businesses, but then when the public comes out and they see it, they'll start getting the message that we're trying to convey. And as we keep working on it, then eventually it's going to become, you know, you can probably remember from your childhood, like give a hoot, don't pollute, that kind of catchphrase. We want it to catch on so people really start to become educated in stormwater.
Wonderful.
And Debbie, you want to talk about all this?
Okay, so that being said, hey, thanks for having me, by the way. I'm in charge of the artistic part, and I thought that I would include the schools for this. And so I've talked to the teachers, and they are trying to get the students involved in like a competition, and we're going to have 8 pairs, hopefully, in the end, and 2 each would work on each drain and come up with a design, and we're going to have them talk about it and have an idea together, and we're going to choose from that. And I think Leanne, and are we going to go talk to them? I think we are gonna go talk to them about the importance of the project. So, the teachers will help us choose somebody, or the groups, to do this, and, also the town. So we want it to look good, so we're gonna make sure it looks good. And then we're gonna have, a festival, and I think we're gonna have maybe a food truck. And that day, they're gonna start painting on it. They probably won't finish it that day. They'll probably have to come back the next day to complete it. And then I thought that the public could vote on their favorite one, and then we could get the businesses involved making a basket or something for the winner of the best one.
We're proposing this to go, to coincide with Earth Day. So we're looking at April 6th, and the rain date would be the following week. And during the morning times, if you've ever been to to see sandcastles being built, they have the tents up while the artists work. People will be strolling, the street will be closed. Folks will be strolling to watch the artists work. Debbie is going to be creating chalk that's made out of clay so that it will be earth friendly and children can go and adults.
Right.
So they can draw onto the street with that. And of course, like she said, the food trucks, that kind of thing. So we're looking at April pulling this out. In January, they're already talking to teachers. In January, they're going to start with education to students and go into the schools. In February, we're expecting the first roll of designs to start rolling in.
Right.
For those of you that may not know Debbie, Debbie has a business on Main Street. She is a very talented artist and sculptor.
Thank you.
We're very grateful that several of our posters for the Strawberry Festival have been true works of art from Debbie, and they're
Thanks.
just, she's uber talented. So we're very grateful to have her on Main Street and help with a project like this. Secondarily, I think it's important to note these storm drains that everybody kind of just, I mean, they blend into the background without the art. But they're important for a lot of reasons. Yes, definitely they become a conduit for things that we don't want in the waterways. We want clean rivers and clean water to pull from for all of our health reasons. But it's also important on a night like tonight when you're riding down a street and there's a lot of puddling out in the street and it becomes a water hazard for those that hydroplane. It's because people put trash or do not clean up or blow their leaves into those or their grass clippings. Yes, it's one of my nits. I see it all the time. Those are drains that are intended to keep our streets safe for us to travel and keep that water moving in the direction it's supposed to. So if we could really highlight the importance of the drains and that we keep them clean for everybody's safety and for the environment, that's really a great project to start with. Council, comments?
What kind of paint are you guys going to use?
Toxic.
Well,
I was going to say that's kind of self-defeating.
Sorry, I just enjoying myself.
Actual painting, we're going to protect the drains so that if paint would get spilled or something, it wouldn't go directly into the drains. So we will have protection on them during the actual painting process. But Debbie, I think, knows more about the actual types of paint.
well, there's several paints, and first the process is you have to seal it with a clear seal, and then before it has to be pressure washed, sealed, and then Sherwin-Williams makes a paint. Probably, the Mason paints would work the best.
Mm-hmm.
And then after it's painted, it's also sealed with another clear sealant, so that it will last for a while.
Any
But
further questions or?
Yeah, I mean, a couple of them. Why did we pick Railroad rather than Main Street?
We don't have any drains.
don't have any on
There's
Main
none
Street.
on Main Street. Interesting. Okay. 'Cause that
Yeah, I
was
know.
We traveled, we took
I
a nice
wanted it on
walk.
Main
Kind of a nice elevation, it rolls down.
Leanne and I, we did walk in several locations, other than being in neighborhoods. We wanted this to be community and also to bring people into the downtown. The mural on the wall on the crossings was such a inviting opportunity. It just gleaned that's where it belonged. And having 4 drains there, actually, we could probably get another 2 out of there if you go farther up, to the crossing. So that's why we chose Railroad Avenue.
And we also own it.
That
We
helps.
also own it.
That helps a lot.
It does.
Okay, makes a difference.
Thank you.
And what is the budget or the cost to the town?
I didn't get that together.
We are, this is our first time
Yeah.
bringing this event here,
Okay.
so we are looking at the cost of the paints. We are gonna be looking into sponsorships, because this is not in the budget. So, once we get the cost of what kind of paints we're dealing with, that would probably be the only cost that we're gonna be incurring for this. We have the tents, we've closure of the streets, we've got the food vendors. That is something that we're still researching.
And from the standpoint of, this is a state-regulated program for stormwater management that also has funding for publication, information, and education, we might well be able to tap what we need from those locations.
We'll definitely look into that.
And I would just, as we go along with the process, making sure that we communicate with our HOAs and with various organizations that we have. I live in Massey. There's a lot of storm drains. There's a lot of construction. Making sure that they understand we're bringing attention to this, and recognizing what they do. Removing the silt fences or having them in there. When the hurricane came through, they removed all of that to make sure everything flowed. So just making sure that communication piece in our marketing goes all the way through to all the communities around here.
Yeah, Leanne works very closely with those builders. That is,
I do, yeah, we're in constant communication. We inspect those sites, we're required to inspect those sites at least once a month, but we're out there much more often than that, so, and we provide them educational materials already, so we could certainly provide them educational materials on this project.
I would just like to be sure we push it to HOA, so that it makes it all the way down to the people that live there. Because again, we have so many people that have moved in from out of this area. That'd be good for them to understand what we're doing. Some of them may not even know where Railroad Avenue is.
true.
So just drawing attention to it all the way.
I do think it's important to note that those are 2 separate issues that you're talking about and need to be. One, we are in direct communication with the construction and development people, which is a step ahead of where we were before we collected stormwater. So that's a good thing. The HOA piece is absolute in knowing that residents need to know, and that is a valuable avenue to get that information to them. But this particular project is very limited and an inaugural project right now.
Correct.
That we'll see how it goes.
Thank you.
And I'll look forward to seeing a fully written up proposal.
Yes.
And how that we're going to approach that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank
Thank you.
All righty. Presentation number 2, update on 2018 York County Day event by the York County Regional Chamber. None other than
Hey.
the Mr. Rob Youngblood.
We moved from artistic and transitioned to no
Yeah.
talent whatsoever.
Heck,
But
I'm a Clemson fan.
thanks, Mayor and council members. I'm Rob Youngblood with the York County Regional Chamber, proudly serving this community along with TKK and Rock Hill. But thanks for this opportunity. I know you're going to be disappointed I'm not here to give a presentation on or to talk about impact fees or the Clemson football program. I know you're going to be
Or the
disappointed with that.
Bachelorette.
I know why Trudy didn't show up this evening. But I think we've got a PowerPoint that we're going to run through very quickly. This is old information to you all. You all have supported a lot of the chamber initiatives, including York County Day. Administration keeps up well, and we don't have that PowerPoint. Okay. Can you plug it in really quick?
Absolutely.
You don't want to just hear me, so if we can get this rolling, that would be helpful. And it should be the last file on that, on the stick. Anyway, I'll go ahead and start for what I can remember. York County Day has been around for 30 years now, and for the first 29 years, we took a trip to Columbia to talk about things important to Fort Mill, things important to York County and our region. Because oftentimes our legislators, there we go, our legislators, go ahead and we'll click up the whole slide, I think that would be easiest. We started about 29 years or 30 years ago, and we were the only York County Day or County Day in the State House, or that celebrated that at that time. And the main purpose was to let folks know that we're here. We certainly relate well to Charlotte, but that we're not Charlotte. We're an important part, we're an important area here, and we're very important to the state of South Carolina. We contribute a lot. We're glad to be here, but we also contribute a lot to the state in many ways. One other thing that upset a lot of folks was that when you left Columbia, you would always find a sign that said, particularly if you were going back on I-77, many of us remember driving Highway 21, which was the only route to Columbia. But when you saw the signs that said, this way, north on I-77, it didn't mention that there was Fort Mill or Rock Hill or TKK. It was Charlotte. And our point was there's a lot of significant, neat places between Columbia and Charlotte, and we're certainly one of them. Next slide, please. The event has progressed from like a luncheon or a reception that we once had to an all-day program. And all of the chambers have worked in the county have worked well together on this to just make our place here a distinguished place. And it evolved into a day-long program that included a luncheon and evening reception, but also some discussions with key representatives, government representatives in the state, in addition to the legislators that could be helpful to us in our agenda, and particularly businesses succeeding in this area. The town of Fort Mill has been a sponsor for a number of years. We appreciate that. Our presenting sponsor, which is our top sponsor, is Atrium Health. And thank you to the town for your sponsorship and support and participation in the past. Next slide, please. York County Day has changed over the years. We found that there were several other counties that started doing York County Day. And they emulated what we had done there, and they did it really well. And they had nice gifts for the legislators that got their attention. But it was a growing competition for those that were having days at the State House. We realized after several years that our program and format became a little repetitious, and though those issues that we're talking about constantly, infrastructure, traffic, congestion, and other things related to being, which are good things about being near Charlotte, but also some downsides to being near those. We realized those were the constant themes, and our program sort of got a little redundant. We also noticed that state legislators weren't coming as they once were, nor were local officials. So we needed a big change. And thanks, next slide, to our very own Ray Felder. She suggested we do something that had been done in Hilton Head, and that was to invite legislators to a significant event. And what they invited legislators to was the Heritage Golf Tournament. Now, we don't have a heritage, and we don't have a beach. We got a lot of things going for us with the Great Lake, and also great communities, great municipalities, and a place called Carowinds that is the largest gated attraction in either Carolina, and really largest in the region. And we wanted to emulate Beaufort County and have legislators come to our place and see what we had here to celebrate the good things, but also some of the things that we wanted to change or do differently or do better. And it's the things that we knew that we could get some help on from our state legislators. So we decided to bring the event to York County. Last year was the first year. Next slide, please. We enjoyed a wonderful time at the World Championships of the BMX, on the BMX track in near the river in Rock Hill. This year, next slide, in celebrating our 31st year, we want to remain in the county but move closer to this area as we rotate to different areas and become a part of Winterfest that Carowinds celebrates. I think has celebrated for several years, but it's a growing event. We want to become part of that and have invited legislators and government officials and their families to come and take part in that. Now, it's really important that we're good hosts to these folks, and again, let them know what we're celebrating here, but also some of our needs, and particularly things that would help the business community that helps the entire community. Next slide, please. So for this year, our goal is about 350 total participants. We want to double the number of legislators that came from last year, which would have obviously been 15. And we thought that was a good start. And we'd about gotten to where our legislative reception in Columbia, we're only getting like 30 legislators. So we're not only getting them to come to a reception, but to see what's going on here and be a part of that. But we'll have a nice reception and a great event. We'll have a tree lighting ceremony that's been committed to by our governor. Different multimedia messages on the assets and issues of our county and our municipalities in the county. We'll also just have a good time. So we can have fun and be a family-friendly event. I think that's the gist of it. I'll be glad to answer any questions, but we mainly wanted to remind you all that this was going on, to get, start getting thinking about it, getting excited about it, and hopefully making plans to attend. Again, glad to answer any questions if there are.
Rob, I think it's an amazing effort to try to get the right focus from the state as a whole on our area, because so many of the rest of the state looks to us, just like you had on your first slide, as a part of Charlotte. We're a part of the Charlotte Metro. And they look at that and think we need nothing because we're covered by the Charlotte media market. We're part of the I-77 corridor, the airport. So they automatically assume we don't need anything, that we're not really part of the state of South Carolina.
Right.
And that's difficult when we need funding and we need grants and we need the types of things everyone else in South Carolina does. So thank you for pulling the weight on that.
And a perfect example of that is that one senator at one of our events mentioned that York County doesn't need any more highway or road money because they have pennies for progress. And that's us helping ourselves get started on a lot of key projects that have improved our network of roads. But again, we need that. A couple of things that have been instrumental that have come from York County days, or a part of that, or peripheral things, are the fact that our part of I-77 is now 4 lanes. And that started, or we added that extra lane as discussions after one of the receptions at York County Day. Imagine, we complain about traffic, imagine what it would be like without that extra lane going both ways. One other thing that was discussed, and it was the beginning of a bi-state compact to keep the river flowing. At one point, there was an interbasin water transfer issue where one of the municipalities to our north wanted to basically take water from the Catawba and return it after they were done using it to another river basin, which made no sense and wasn't fair. It would have affected the water quality of all of us down south here. So those are just a few things that we have to demonstrate the importance of the event and the fact that we needed to have these issues on the front burners. Thank you very much. We look forward to seeing you all there.
Thank you so much. You gonna ride the roller coasters with us?
You'll ride with me on the front row.
We're in like Flint.
Virginia, will you make sure that's on our calendar invites and so forth? Okay,
I think
awesome.
it is.
Perfect, I didn't see it.
Wonderful. That's a wonderful effort, and hopefully will continue to provide value for all of us struggling to get the things we deserve. All right, we have no old business items to address, so we'll begin with new business items. New business item number 1, a resolution to appoint and commission Zach Driggers as Code Enforcement Officer for the proper security and general welfare for the town of Fort Mill. Do I have a motion?
I make a motion to accept new business item number 1.
I have a motion and a second. All right, any questions, comments?
To you.
Is Zach here?
He's not. He's
not?
our new planner.
Okay, all right, good. He's our new planner. Okay, it'd be great to put him before us one night, just so we get to meet him as a whole. All those in favor of the motion to approve, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, nay. Thank you. New business item number 2, request to approve a facade improvement grant for 229 Main Street, Olives, Mud Puddle, Ward 2, Councilman Helms' district. If we would have a motion.
I make a motion to accept new business item number 2.
Got a motion to accept and a second. Who would be speaking to us about
I can
this?
speak to that. Mayor, the applicant has proposed at 229 Main Street, number of improvements including fresh paint, a new awning on the front facade, new signage along the facade. The total project cost is upwards of $11,500. And per the town's facade improvement grant program, could be reimbursed a total of up to $5,000, which is a 50% match. The Historic Review Board has reviewed and approved the requested improvements, and staff has reviewed the request. It was deemed eligible based on our program, and staff would recommend that council approve the application at a value of up to 50% of the total project cost, not to exceed $5,000, and to direct staff to enter into a grant agreement with the applicant.
Wonderful. It's a
Happy to answer any
fantastic
questions.
program for those that are making every effort to make our downtown area as enjoyable as possible, and I'm seeing great success with that. So thank you all. Council, do you have questions?
I'd like to make a comment about all his mud puddles.
Yeah.
It's a very nice place. I've been in there several times and had coffee with people, and it's real nice. Our people actually use that for their office, sitting there with little computers working away. But anyway, it's a good program.
Now, is this grant that we're going to push through, that is for 2018-19, or is this renew after the first of the year for the fall, if someone else wants to come in?
It's renewed annually. It has been historically renewed annually through your budget process, and it's has been approved historically at $15,000, and the request being up to $5,000 basically allows us to do 3 full grants. If folks come in with less than a $10,000 project, then we basically have the money available until it's used up.
Okay.
I think there was a very visible difference to the one that happened, the most recent one, I believe, is the hair salon.
Cutting room.
Yeah, the cutting, is it the cutting room? Is that the name of it?
Yeah.
Beautiful black awnings, nice gray paint, really improved that corner. So it's a great program for those that have interest and effort, and we want to assist and partner to continue the upgrades to downtown.
Chris, what's the timing for other applicants, since there is additional funds in that grant money?
They can submit to us at any time, and at this point, they'd be reviewed as they came in. So as funding
First
is.
come, first served?
It does have criteria that must be satisfied. As Chris has mentioned, we go through what they request and determine if it meets the criteria, and then we can award the grant. So it's a great program. Thank you so much for taking advantage of it and doing what you do on Main.
And you said the historic board?
The Historic
Design.
Review Board has approved of the
Okay.
improvements that are requested.
Okay.
Any other questions? Hearing none, we have a motion on the floor to approve and a second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, nay. Thank you so much. New business item number 3, first reading, an ordinance annexing a portion of the property currently or formerly known as York County Tax Map Number 738-0000045, formerly York County Tax Map Number 02012012079, containing approximately 4.1 plus or minus acres located at 1822 North Doby's Bridge Road. This is Ward number 4. Mr. Moody, who is out of town this evening. Do I have a motion?
I make a motion to accept new business item number 3.
I have a motion. Do I have a second? I have a motion and a second. Chris, will you be guiding us on this one as well?
Yes, Mayor. This is an interesting request in that this is a piece of property that has previously been annexed by the town. Back in 2016, council approved an annexation ordinance annexing this property as MXU mixed use. The annexation ordinance and the mixed use approval contained a provision that basically had the ordinance applicable only if the property was transferred to a development group who was looking to develop the property for, at the time, 200 age restricted dwelling units and up to 36,000 square feet of office, retail, and municipal uses. So that was approved in 2016. When the property was not transferred, that ordinance became essentially null and void. And so although this property sort of has a town tax map number, it is actually in York County's jurisdiction, and York County, I'm working with York County to verify which tax map number should be the correct number moving forward with this request. But the applicant is requesting slightly different annexation than back in 2016. They're requesting only a portion of the property to be annexed. The applicant does intend to develop the property as a Goddard School location. plus or minus 10,000 square foot use. The property is located in an area designated as commercial and high density in our comprehensive plan. The applicant's request of highway commercial is consistent with both nearby properties and the general development patterns of the area and the recommendation of the comprehensive plan. Therefore, staff does recommend in favor of approval, and I'm happy to answer any questions you may have.
Seeing the map, when I looked at it on our agenda, 90% of what's around that is residential, is it not?
It currently, let's see if I can make this work. It currently does have residential to the north, but what we're seeing, unfortunately this doesn't show very well. You do have commercial kind of already starting at the intersection of Hare and Fort Mill Parkway. These properties have been annexed into the town of Fort Mill as highway commercial. They're not showing as zoning, but they are brought into as highway commercial. So that area is kind of starting to turn over, and we've had actually this property here as well as highway commercial. So a lot of the properties there have been starting to turn over from a residential use to a commercial use. And our comprehensive plan sort of outlines this as a node for that transition. Basically,
Is there already a development agreement saying that they are going to have a Goddard School?
There is no development agreement, so
they could
it's moving
change,
forward.
they could change that destination if we change it to highway commercial.
It would not be only for the Goddard School. It would be allowed for any use in highway commercial. So if the Goddard School development fell through, it could be a different use.
That's my
Can I
only
answer your
concern.
question?
Yeah, that's my only concern.
And this is currently we're just looking at annexation, not at zoning, correct?
Well,
Or
this is,
some-
the annexation request is for it to be brought into town and zoned highway commercial.
So it's double.
It's doing both, okay. Are there any other zoning designations that would include a daycare?
Yes.
It could be local commercial, which also does allow for daycare uses. Highway commercial was recommended for simply consistency with the zonings that have been brought in surrounding it. But it could be brought in as local commercial. It could be brought in as some of our residential districts, I believe, as well.
I was thinking it was basically the same as a church.
It
as far
is
as
allowed
zonings.
in
The setbacks would change a little
Yes,
bit.
they
yeah.
will.
So depending on what the requirements of the school size is, if it would fit into local commercial as opposed to highway commercial, the setback would
Be greater?
be less. Yeah, the setbacks would be more, so the school would have to shrink in size. I don't know what their standard building size is. And now they're looking to have the entire portion annexed in, because I'm just seeing this small piece of it that they're actually looking to build upon.
Yes, sir, and I do apologize. If you'll look in your agenda packet, I'll bring it up on the screen as well. This is I don't have a great exhibit at this point for the annexation request showing just the portion, but this is kind of their site layout, and it shows the portion that is subject to this request.
Okay, so that's much smaller than the
which is-
big red piece that I'm looking at.
Correct. It's only a portion of the overall parcel. So if I can,
That's on both sides of Hare Road, correct?
it does include a piece that
So that's
is
the whole piece, they're just looking at that. So it's just
across Hare Road. So it does have pieces on both sides.
Now, I remember last time this came through was because we didn't have sewer going down there. Or what are they planning on? Are they planning on pushing the sewer line down there in order to accommodate what they're planning on building, or?
Yes, they would be working with our utilities department to get water and sewer to the site.
Is this the location, Chris, that the previous folks that were interested in it were looking at assisted living, or?
This was Hare Village, I believe it was called, and it was a continuing care facility that included multifamily all the way to an assisted living facility.
I hate that didn't pan out. Council, do you have further questions?
It's not on the bypass.
No, it's off the,
No, it's not.
it's off the side of
Chris, can you blow that one up so
the gas
that
station. Sits
those in attendance, thank you, can see specifically, you pinpoint where the bypass is?
This is Fort Mill Parkway here, and the overall parcel, this is all one parcel here. And previously in 2016, this overall parcel was annexed. And the request this evening is only for basically this portion here to be annexed in. And it's only that portion that is proposed to be developed by the folks doing the Goddard School.
This is the third mention of interest in placing an upscale daycare facility in the east side of town. Is there a limitation on how many? Is there a saturation point? Is there, what, help me out here.
The market certainly would have a saturation point, but from a zoning perspective, as our zoning would allow today, there is no limit on the number of facilities. It's something that could be considered, but as it stands today, we don't have a limit.
Specifically for daycare?
Yeah, I'm just curious, because it's three
There's
in a.
minimal daycares.
I know, but I'm just saying, we've got three that are interested in a
Well,
very
and one of them
tight
withdrawn.
circle. Temporarily.
Okay.
Temporarily. And I guess, if, to Jamie's point, if it's a lot larger tract of land and they're only asking to develop one portion of it, but to zone the entire tract, is that what I'm understanding?
No, ma'am, they're only requesting to annex only a portion, and only that portion would be zoned. The remainder of the parcel would remain in York County.
Thank you, that's all. That helps me.
Yeah.
That helps me, to Jamie's point. Further questions? We have a motion on the table to approve. We have a second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? All right, thank you very much. New business item number 4, a resolution designating Main Street, Tom Hall Street to Academy Street as the site of a public festival at which alcoholic beverages may be consumed, and to authorize a special event permit for live music and sound amplification equipment on Saturday, December the 15th, 2018, from 11 a.m. until 9 p.m. I see folks here to talk to us. That's good. But I need a motion first.
I make a motion to accept new business item number 4.
I have a motion to accept. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Okay. Hi.
Hey, how you doing?
Owner of Hobos will help us, and I think he's very active in the Downtown Merchants Association and
Yes, ma'am.
keeping us coming to downtown.
Mayor Savage and council, Jason is here to discuss the Christmas Jam event that Main Street Merchants would like to host, and just go over the day and time.
Correct. I'm actually filling in. Got thrown in this last minute, so if I'm not as prepared as I should be, I apologize. But we're looking to do a Christmas downtown jam, similar to the last 2 jams that we've had. It's just going to be a little bit different as far as the food trucks and the maps and everything, but it's pretty much to, bring people to downtown Fort Mill to focus on the shopping and everything. And we will have some live music, of course, some beer sales to help pay for the event, which this is the map here at the top of Main Street, which would be the food trucks is what I'm getting from this map. I just got this map this morning, so I'm just trying to look over it.
Sure.
So the food court would be at the top with up to 5 food trucks, no more than that. The band and the stage, we're looking at putting it at where spot 2 is putting the band there and facing towards spot 8.
Mm-hmm.
And then the beer trailer, if he could scroll, would be down at the bottom of the street with where the final closing is at.
There we go.
We switched it around because we think it would be better to spread out the vendors and bring them, of course, the food trucks up top, and then bring some vendors down here to get Southern Sugar kind of involved, to have all of Main Street working together. I think last time we had to move the stage up because the incline was so, for the stage, we were scared it was going to fall. So we moved it up, and it kind of shut the lower part of Main Street out. So we're looking to do that. We're going to do beer ticket sales to control an ID check with wristbands and everything to control the consumption of beers, of course. We're looking at the time that we had was saying 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. The actual event's going to be from 12 to 6. We want to do it during the day because 5:30 it starts getting dark and cold at this time anyway. So we're looking to do it at that time. We're going to have
So it is not 11 to 9, it's 12 to 6?
the actual event, yeah. I think we did the 11-9 just to cover the hours because we weren't sure at the time, but 12 to 6 would be the event time, the start
And
and
I
finish.
see from the top of your form that beer sales would not start until 1. Is that accurate?
Well, we're looking at starting that at 12, if that's possible. I think that's when they had 11 to 9. Street closures at 10.
I know you just got this, but it would be, and I've already seen it promoted on Facebook, so we're in, because it's
Okay.
happening, and we didn't promote it. It would be good to make sure we're right on all the times, just so we've
The
got it
12 to
right.
6 is what
Gotcha.
I've gotten emailed this morning.
Yeah.
And what we talked about in our last meeting.
Mhm.
The 1 to 8, I'm not sure where that came from, but 12 to 6 is what we're looking at.
Thank you.
And beer will be from 12 to 6?
12 to 6, yes, sir.
And you're going to need an hour or 2 hours to get all this set up?
And we normally do it an hour, so
So
11.
we're shutting the road down at 11,
11 to 12, we can set it up in an hour pretty quickly,
and then an hour after the
hour
fact?
afterwards. It's even quicker afterwards, so we're giving ourselves an hour afterwards.
So 11 to 7,
Yes, sir.
the actual event, 12 to 6?
Yes, sir. And we'll also be, with the wristbands and the ticket sales, the businesses downtown that actually have food and beer would actually be carding and IDing inside to put wristbands on people, just to make sure everybody's covered. Because somebody could come in and walk out on the street. We're going to make sure they have wristbands there too, to control.
Yeah, I think, I don't know, I'm not good at this. But I think you can't buy alcohol outside and take it into a business, is that correct? Do I have that backwards, Detective Zachary, or you help me out?
I'm not certain
Okay, I think it's.
Technically, you can, from what I know, I'm not sure the correct law, but you technically can't go from business to business with alcohol.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know for special events. I'm not sure if that's got something to take care of. I would be the one getting the license under our license, and of course, go through the whole thing of getting the chief to sign off on it, and then going to the Department of Revenue.
But I think if we have a town ordinance, it doesn't matter if it's a special event or not, it would have to comply. Davey, can you get the council approved, can you find out, Barry, somebody find out what the rule is, what the law is, and make sure what we're approving is doable, and that we're not approving something that we would later be fussed at for?
Yes.
Can you do that?
Mhm.
Thank you. Thank you. I just want to make sure what we're doing.
Right, I understand.
As in, if you guys are going to go with red cups, everybody gets a red cup?
We do a clear cup.
Or what, you know what I mean? That
Yeah,
way,
don't
if
do
it comes
red
out of your
Solo cups.
business and goes across the street or
Right,
goes
right, right.
next
Well,
door,
the-
then everybody knows that it's all part of it, instead of you giving out a regular cup and somebody else giving a red cup and then a third cup. Now, nobody knows. Now I'm in Maine and Gray with my kid and somebody bumps my elbow and I'm buying $1,000 statue because they
Right.
built, you
Yeah,
know.
last time they had.
We have special
logo
cups, cups with,
Okay.
with Hobos and Amor Ortiz's name on it for the event.
Okay.
And we'll probably stick with those because we still got some left over, so.
And I think the previous events have gone very well. We've had very few, if any, issues. So I think, that we made a commitment for 3, and this will be your 3rd one, right?
Third,
Or fourth,
yes,
third
ma'am.
one.
I'm glad that we're addressing this thing about the color of the cups. The world has a lot of problems, and we're certainly solving one of them. I would like to compliment you on doing it on Saturday.
Yeah.
I think the last event was on a Friday and we shut Main Street down.
I don't think we've
I
had
think
any.
One with a
but-
Halloween thing.
The Halloween was
That was
on
ours.
Halloween. That
Yeah.
was
Yeah,
the
that's
town of Fort
ours, and
Mill.
it always happens on Halloween.
On Halloween.
But what I'm saying, it just created a hellhole out here on Tom Hall Street.
It's, every year we do the same event on Halloween, so it could be any day of the week.
Yeah, we try to do ours on Saturday,
Good.
so.
Any
No dunk
questions?
tank this time, please.
Yeah, no dunk tank. I'm not doing that again.
Polar bear dunk tank?
Yeah,
No.
I was gonna say, y'all got close when you were putting water in for me
Get
last
some real
time, but
reindeer.
no.
We've got some children's events coming up. Hopefully,
Just
I got a
bring the
balloon
bull out
artist.
for the mayor. Just
Sir?
bring the bull out for the mayor.
Reindeer
Okay.
ride, reindeer ride.
That's it.
No, it'll be fun.
Yeah.
Lots of fun.
I think it'll be a good thing, and I appreciate and I admire you guys' energy that you're bringing to the downtown, but please don't post stuff up until we give it the okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
Because then we're all gonna look like we have egg on our face.
Yes.
understand. That wasn't me.
I know, it wasn't me
I don't
either.
even know where it come, I don't even know where it come from. I saw it yesterday, so.
I know, I did too. You know, I was sort of like, I think it's still on our agenda, so,
We got turned down, it'd be bad, wouldn't it?
yeah, that'd be real trouble.
Yeah.
And guess who would be in trouble? It would be us.
Yeah.
Okay, any further questions? Jason, thank you so much.
Thank you.
We appreciate it. All those in favor of the motion on the table to approve, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, we have no executive session this evening, so we'll go around the table. Mr. Huntley, do you have anything for the good of the whole?
Yes, I had the honor of attending 2 events this past week. One of them was Habitat for Humanity, which is a great organization. It's, I like to characterize it, people helping themselves. It's just a great organization. And the other was our Armistice Day, Veterans Day out at the complex. I'm sorry the weather was like it was, but it was a great program, including our guest speaker, who was really good.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Thank you. Jamie?
Like what Larry said, our veterans program, I was able to MC that. The mayor asked me to because she couldn't attend. It was a great time. Our speaker was U.S. Sergeant retired, Aaron Harper, and he was a really good guy. And his wife is phenomenal too. She's getting ready to become the first female colonel in the helicopter that she flies, an Apache helicopter. Phenomenal. I mean, you want to talk about
wow.
breaking glass ceilings. I mean, they were both great people. It was a wonderful time. We had a good crowd. Some people came late, but that's still okay. If you see some of our employees going around, this is No Shave November. I also am participating at least until Friday. And we're bringing awareness to cancer. December 1st is our Christmas parade. I hope to see everybody out there, and this looks like it's going to turn out to be a pretty good event too on the 15th with our Christmas jam. So that is all.
Lisa?
So just want to comment, the election turnout was unbelievable here. You know, since becoming in politics, as I say, I'm an elected official, not a politician, so there's a difference. But I've never seen the turnout like it was, even for a presidential election. We've not had near this, I don't think. So thank you to everybody for exercising their right to get out and vote and to get involved and to understand what is going on, not only in our nation, but in our community. There were a lot of highly publicized races going on, particularly like our school board. So thank you for all those that ran and put themselves out there, and then those that were elected to serve. We look forward to seeing what they have to offer. Also, too, want to comment Veterans Day. Don't take that lightly. Veterans Day means a whole lot to me and my family, as it does to all of us. And there's a lot of people that sacrifice every day just so we can sit here and debate on whether we're going to drink on Main Street. So appreciate all the families and the people that have served. Also want us to take note, Davey and Brown, I know isn't here today, but one of the things I hope our Parks and Rec Committee will do is take a look at what Lancaster County did with the bond referendum for their Parks and Rec program over there, and take a look and see if that's something we may want to consider in the upcoming couple of years, and see what they've done and see if it makes sense for us.
Thank you. Ronnie?
I also attended the Veterans Fair, which am one, and it was very well entertaining. Jamie did a tremendous job, and our speaker did a tremendous job. That's all.
Okay. So I was unable to attend the Veterans Day. I get a little confused on which day we're celebrating it. I think last year we did Saturday, and then I think the country's doing today. So sorry, but my schedule got a little askew, and I am grateful for Jamie filling in. And I'm also grateful that we had the opportunity to move it to the complex because of inclement weather. You know, we attempted, I believe, a Memorial Day in this chamber, and it was tight. So I'm really grateful that we have, we're growing enough that we can host some, you know, some events that otherwise would have been called off. So that's a good plus, I think, for this year. I'm very happy about that. And I agree with everyone here on council. Freedom's not free. It's not. There's someone in everyone's family that gave of themselves, that sacrificed either the time that they served or their life or a family member so that you and I can do what we do. So freedom's not free. I'd like to ask, how many of you know how many mayors are in York County? Want to take a guess?
Active mayors?
Yeah.
5?
6 or 8?
I was gonna say 7, so.
5, 6, 8, 7.
No.
There are 9.
9.
I think that's so intriguing to me that York County has 9 townships with mayors. I think that's very intriguing. I guess it was sometime in midsummer, Rock Hill Mayor's Geddes invited us all to get together and talk about being mayor and try and share some experiences so that each of us would get the benefit of the other service. So Fort Mill hosted the second one last week. Thank you, Virginia, Caroline, and Davey, the staff, for preparing for that. It was very interesting, and we're learning a lot. It's always beneficial to hear from those that have done this before. And so hopefully we'll find some areas for efficiencies and some interesting facts about things that they do in their communities. So thank you, staff, for preparing for that and letting us do that. I want to give a big shout out to Fort Mill and NAFO for their band's performances. I think they both did exceedingly well. I think was it a third and a second place? I'm not sure. And then the NAFO volleyball team took the state. That's pretty awesome. Just amazing. Scarecrow contest, can't say enough good things about the participation and the people walking downtown. Wonderful, wonderful event. Thank you. And I saw the staff hanging up Christmas lights, so yay. We did mention the parade. Let's also mention my favorite event, the tree lighting. We will do that the last Thursday of this month, and it always is one of those special events in town. A lot of rain, a lot of stuff. Please be safe out there. Thank you to police and fire and public utilities and everyone that does what they do so that we all remain safe. Shantae, thank you for being here, hon. With that, I'll
I was just going to say real quick, Nation Ford football is still in the playoffs, playing Dorman this Friday night.
Whoa.
So
with a backup quarterback too, I might add.
So
it's exciting.
Prayer, that's going to be.
It's very exciting. I love it.
Watch that. I think Fort Mill High is kind of sensitive about the football situation. See, they didn't do very well at all.
I'm
They
just
can
saying
play,
they're-
I can't,
I
so
was
they're
gonna say,
better
I'm
than
just
me.
saying NAFO's still in the playoffs. So I'm not sure. I represent every high school that this town's ever had. So.
Pretty awesome. Just wonderful things that keep us all interested and happy. Thank you. I'll entertain a motion for adjournment.
So moved.
Second.
Before we adjourn, before we vote on that, what are all you guys doing here? Somebody be brave and stand up and say.
From Fort Mill High School, we had like an assignment to
Stand up, please.
Yeah, stand up and speak. Project.
I can't see you.
Thank you.
From Fort Mill High School,
Yes.
and a lot of us he assigned as part of our government and economics class, and he wanted us to be more involved in the local government, so he told us basically to go to an formal education or formal school district meeting, meeting for Fort Mill and TK, and I think one for York County as well, since that was one of the meetings. So.
That's wonderful. Thank you for taking your time, doing your homework, but I'm a parent too. But I think it's really important that you guys see that participating, it may seem boring what we do, but it's really important what we do. You can actually see firsthand in your life the decisions that are made on a local level that affect you and your family and your neighbors and your school and everything else. So thank you for taking the time, and I appreciate your teacher asking you to do that. It's very important. Thanks for coming tonight. We're happy to have you.
And wearing that fine sweatshirt.
Yes, I like that
I was-
sweatshirt. Are you
I
on a
was a
swim
swimmer.
team?
Yes, I'm a senior this year, so this year was my last season, unfortunately.
Well, I'm sorry,
Won't
because
get
we're
the
so
new
excited
aquatic
about the
center.
new aquatic center and the complex. It's going to be really, really great. But thank you for making that possible. No swimmers, no need for an aquatic center, right? All right, I have a motion and a
We
second.
got Fort Mill graduates up here.
Yes, I graduated Fort Mill High. So we get it. All right, motion and a second. All those in favor of adjournment, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, nay. Thank you for being here tonight.